Okay, it's 7 o'clock. Time to start our regular June school board meeting. This time we'd like to stand and have everyone say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the first item on our agenda is to amend and or accept tonight's agenda. Is there anything that somebody wants to amend? If not, do I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion with support. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? At this time in our meeting, it's time for public comment. So if there's anybody in the public that wants to comment on anything, we have a microphone and a podium here. Okay, well, it looks like nobody for public comment. So we're on to routine matters. We, at this time, need to approve our minutes from last month. Hope everybody's had a chance to look those over, and I thought they looked good.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have support?
Support.
We have a motion and support to accept last month's minutes. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That carries.
Kevin, I'm sorry, I have the March 2,
Oh,
I got them. I thought I left them in the office. We prepared the special session minutes for March 2nd. Remember, we have moved them forward over the last couple of months.
yes.
And what I'm going to give to you is the public minutes that you will be approving and the closed session such things that were recorded that you should read, and then I would like you to hand them back to me. Okay? Everyone understand why we're doing it that way?
Yes.
All right. So let me just take a second to grab them here. You know, it's tough when you have to wear glasses all the time and know what you're doing. I got it. That's the one that has to be signed, so make sure I get that.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
Thanks. Thank you, sir.
The top one, as I said, the top copy is the, what would be moving to accept this evening. The second copy is the recording of a closed session that was a legal closed session that we did as we discussed board candidates. As you remember, the board candidates requested that those be reviewed in closed session and not made public. And then we came out, and at that point, those that we chose to interview, we had to put their names out to the public.
Correct.
Look good to me. I'd make a
Guess I
motion to
gotta-
accept them.
I got an extra copy here, I guess. I had 3 and 4.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the March 2 minutes and also the March 2 closed session minutes. Do we have support?
Support?
We have a motion and support to approve these minutes. Is there any more discussion on this? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries.
At the top, I kept the one of the open meeting.
Yep.
Sign.
This one's, Karen's got to sign that one.
Yep. No, this is the one. This, I'm sorry.
That one has a spot too.
Thank you.
Okay, Howard, now it's time for the treasurer's report.
That back there. I have several things I'd like to highlight for you. The work has been completed on 2021 budget amendment, and we are working on 21-22, but pretty well finished with the projections for that. And we'll be ready to submit to our special board meeting on June 28. I would say characterize things as this year looks very positive. We're showing a slight deficit, but I think when we close the books, on the day that we close the books, I'm reasonably certain that we're going to have a positive fund balance. So that's good news. The projection for next year is, and we'll be talking about the variables, but it keeps changing daily as you listen to the governor, the Senate, the representatives. It hasn't changed in 25 years. So, but we are coming somewhere down the middle. Our enrollment looks extremely positive. The kindergarten enrollment looks very strong again. Overall enrollment looks, like I said, looks very positive. So there are no down things in what I'm seeing at this point, things to be overly concerned about.
Okay.
The cash flow worksheet, we're going to be asking you to pass the resolution tonight, as we did last year, for cash flow purposes, to go through the process of borrowing $1 million on a $7.8 million budget, or it's actually $11 million budget, but that is acceptable levels. Our attorneys have said that it is. And the resolution that you'll be passing tonight will reflect that. We are anticipating that our auditors will be coming in the week of July 12. That's always a big week for us. And Lisa Coltman, you might give her a word of encouragement. It's always a nervous time. And she always passes with flying colors. The state has a new system to enter grants and cash requests. It's throwing off some of the processes that we're used to doing at this time of year. I don't anticipate any issues, but with Title I, Title II, Title IV, the at-risk monies, consolidated application, which typically would be done by now, is just taking a little longer. As any improvement, it'll be good, right? But anyway, COVID-2 applications are being reviewed. We have, as we have asked for $212,000 that you approved in April, if you recall. of technology and some other items for capital improvements. There's just now starting to review those first dollars. As you might recall, we are scheduled to receive $499,000 for COVID-2. We have requests for $212,000. And once that's released, then we'll be coming to you and asking you to officially authorize POs for the materials that we'd like to purchase. But it'll be a flow in and out of the budget. As you look at your projected budget for next year, this year's budget, those dollars aren't in there. Those dollars will be used when they're authorized. And what we have to do is pay for it up front, and it's a pretty fast turnaround. That's the way it worked with COVID-1. It shouldn't be a problem. This has nothing to do with COVID-3, which we're still anticipating a little over $1 million, which we'll be talking about. Scott will be talking to you about it next year, and you'll have probably, I think the last time I checked, you'd have until 23, 24 to decide how you're going to spend it, what you do with it, and so forth. So that's a little update on that. That's really, I would take any questions. That's the overview of what I thought you'd like to hear tonight.
I just got a quick question, Howard, on the balance sheet. The payment for a credit card, the BMO Harris, is that just regular credit card activity?
Say one more time.
I'm questioning the BMO Harris, the school credit card. Is that just normal credit card payments?
Yes, I'm not aware of anything unusual.
Okay, so BMO Harris, that's the name of the credit card issuer, or just not a familiar name?
I'm not.
Okay.
It's a Visa credit card.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a regular Visa credit card that we have for school. Maybe it is through you. I can sure find that out though, Ken. Anything else? That's all from me for that, Kevin.
Okay, do we have a motion to accept our treasurer's report?
Motion.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That passes. Matt?
I would like to make a motion to pay checks 15849 through 15906 and checks 71814 through 71898 from the general fund for a total of $555,342.46. And from food services, check 15886 through 15912 for $23,749.07.
Support.
We have a motion and support to accept general fund invoices for payment. Is there any further discussion or questions for Matt?
I've got a couple of questions maybe Dylan can help with. The one payment for Power School, $6,000, is that an annual number?
Yes.
Okay, and the same is true for the Merit Network?
Yes, that is, the Merit Network is our internet for the full year.
Okay, perfect. There's another one that I wanted to. Check number 71885 for $69,000, ORS accrued expense AUAAL stabilization.
Cable is,
It says accrued expense UAAL stabilization payable to ORS, which I'm assuming is the Office of Retirement Services.
I'm not, Ken, I'm not sure. I'd have to dig into that.
Okay, it's about $69,000. ORS, I believe, is Office of Retirement Services, so it must be tied to
If that's the acronym behind it, it would be tied to retirement.
something tied to retirement.
Yep.
Okay. I had one more question, and it had to do with check number 71850 and WTCM Board of Education Advertising. Is that pertaining to school choice?
No,
No, it's for.
Okay,
no.
because we
No,
advertise on
we
that
haven't-
for
We
school
haven't done
choice.
any advertising for school choice.
Okay,
It's been for, probably for Little Wheels, correct?
It's probably for Little
that?
Wheels.
Little Wheels.
oh, okay, perfect, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, good, thank you.
Okay, we have a motion with support. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? That passes. On to reports and communications. For my part, I just want to take a minute to just thank the fellow board members here on, we're 6 months into this, and it's been a lot of meetings and a lot of everything, seems like, and everybody's been very supportive of extra meetings and stuff, and it's very appreciative. I also like to take a moment to, if anybody in the public is wondering, our new superintendent would like to be here tonight, but his regular meeting in Mesik is tonight also, so he felt obligated to be there for good reason. I just hope for him that everything goes well there and his departure. But he does plan to be here on June 28th for our special board meeting for the budget. So, but that's all I have. Superintendent.
Maybe I can start with that. The transition with Mr. Aiken has been going extremely well. We've met every once a week and sometimes twice a week since you've appointed him. And remember, he does officially start July 1st. But, and I know he has an important meeting tonight. They're looking to appoint their new superintendent for Mesik. So I hope that, like you said, I hope that all goes well for him. I'd just briefly like to talk a little bit about a property committee meeting that Kevin and Den, Doug, and myself had on June 10. At that, we looked at different issues relating to traffic access to the buildings. And I'll be talking a little bit more about that committee that I started. And we had, I think, a really good brainstorming session about potential things we could do to help enhance accessing the building. Little Will's punch list is coming along. I think we're entering the homeward stretch. We have probably some of the bigger things to do is actually put the fence on the poles outside. We have some sidewalk work that we're going to do, a light pole we're going to put up. On the inside, there's a number of issues that we're dealing with. One is like deadening sound a little bit with some panels. We also are continuing to work on the heating and air conditioning noise issues that we have, and we have contractors working very hard on getting that right. So not on what I would characterize, nothing unusual. It's just things that you have to pay attention to, and I'm very, very optimistic everything's going to be ready to go by August 23 when we start using it. So that part's looking very good. We have committed to asphalting. I think I might have reported that out before, but if you go into the parking lot that's in front of Little Wheels, and if you look to the west, we're going to extend the asphalt out to Grace Street, and on the south side of the bus garage, where there's cement and asphalt, it's all going to be blended in. So that'll be a real nice way for parents to get in and out of the building, and also of complementing what we already have out there. So that's a good deal. We're working on light bulb proposal. excuse me, we will have that ready to go and issue bids or award at June 28. I'll be coming to you, asking you to take care of that. We are doing a minor change, our tech room where Dylan and company hang out. We're going to move across the hall to a classroom because they need more space, and we're going to put a set of double doors in the hallway and do some other minor upgrading to painting and so forth to make that room look a little more appealing. But with the amount of work that they do, with space needs that they have, students that come in for repairs, it's just something we need to do. So that is relating to the property. Little Wheels, I'd like to talk about Traffic Access Committee. We have 7 individuals, I believe, that I asked to help me with that. I'm sorry about my voice. Kevin Isaac, Kristen Hunninga, David Wisner, Scott Dunham, Sean Mulder, Becky Rodenbaugh, myself, and Dylan Rodenbaugh. And we've met twice now and looking at various issues. One of issues is in March of 2019, you had a traffic study done that was funded by us and by the city. And we've carefully diagnosed this, look at what their recommendations were. I believe tomorrow we're meeting again at 8 o'clock, and I think we have the consensus on a plan. I'm not prepared to talk about the details of that because I want to make sure that we're all in agreement, but we're very close to having something that we feel would be a good recommendation. The recommendation will come to you in July, at the July board meeting, and then I can envision that you might have we'll correspond, obviously, but possibly even have a parents' meeting to explain what we're doing if that would be necessary. But we've looked at variables of parent needs, parent drop-off, staff, student. We have 13 buses that come in and out every day. Little Wheels right now, I'll be reporting a little bit, is we have over 40 students enrolled. We know that this year we had, on an average, over 80 cars that parents came in and out to dropping students on and off. Now you put another over 40 to 50, that's potentially, arguably, at least another 30 cars that's going to be in that mix. Athletics, we're looking at occasionally when a track meet or something happens in the fall where they start too early that really crunches our east parking lot. We're looking at those issues. And then we're also very concerned about the walkers. And we've had a couple close calls this year. One of our objectives is to try to get the buses from being in front of the school as much as we can. We're trying to lessen the traffic that flows in front of school on M66 on Maple, and to give our crossing guards a better opportunity to get the kids across. Those are the things that we're looking at. And when you look at 80 plus average cars this year, the 13 buses, the staff, we had 60 high school students that Mr. Biller gave parking permits to. And it all comes together in 15, 20 minutes before school and 15, 20 minutes after school. It's quite a deal. And the traffic backing up to 66 and the flow, we're going to try our best to keep them away from each other so that there's movement and they can not have to interact too much. So the last week of school, we had a pilot where the buses parked on the north north of the building, north of the elementary parking lot, playground. We had 2 Missaukee County Sheriff's cars here to block traffic on M66, and we tried that, and we found out we found out many things we didn't like about it. So that's the nature of a pilot. We also know we don't expect that the sheriff is going to post deputies here every day. That's not what was not the expectation. But I have to thank them for their helping us analyze our needs and looking at from a safety perspective. So that's what we've been doing relating to our traffic access. And like I said, I'm hoping that in July, no later than the August board meeting, you'll have a comprehensive recommendation, and then we'll be communicating that via all the things that we can use so everyone understands it. I predict it will not satisfy, or not everyone will be happy. But it's the nature,
Yep.
it's just the way it is. So, but there's adequate spots for staff to park, there's adequate spots for parents, safety ways for parents to drop their students off, and pick their students up. And Scott Dunham is working really hard with them. When you get 12 buses that are interacting and making sure that the kids are getting on safe, on and off. There's a lot of, you're moving over 1,000 students. We have not forgotten Northern Michigan Christian, because we have to shuttle those students there and back, and that creates cross-flow traffic also in the morning. And we're trying to figure out how to minimize that. We're looking at start times. Like Little Wheels, I think, probably we will start that at least 15 minutes later in the morning than regular school start, just to try to get the traffic out and separate the Little Wheels traffic in that manner. So those are the things that we're looking at. It's, actually it's kind of fun. It's time, a lot of variables, but we have a good group of people really dedicated, working hard on it, and so we'll see what we come up with. What else I have here? Any questions about that? 21-22 planning, you're going to see the starts of that tonight. We're recommending for outstanding young teachers to you this evening. We're looking at, we have some opportunities because of resignations that just happened last week in the high school. Middle school, we have some movement. It's going to be a busy summer. It's going to be a busy summer. We're out with a lot of postings and working hard. And Mr. Acom is going to be hitting the ground running because there's lots to be done. On Wednesday of this week, I'm having a school. The auditor for Wexford Missaukee ISD, who is the guru on schools of choice. She's coming over, and I'm going to have a meeting with her in my office, and we're going to go over, I'm asking for a total review of historically to what we're currently doing. And looking forward to bringing that back to you through Scott. Like I think we talked last month, I believe July, August, there's in the near future, or first into the fall, but a thorough review of schools of choice of where we're going with that. But I'm trying to do the homework for you, for Scott, and so the board can, look at it, the pros and the cons and what's going on. I did find out today, because it was on the agenda we had discussion about when people sign up for it, and that was the discussion today at the superintendent's meeting. And both Scott and I, Scott for MESIC, myself for McBain, we said we're not ready to make any commitment because we wanted to talk to our board, so we wanted to look at where we're at. And so that would be for next year, but we'll have to do some things in July to tweak it a little bit if we want to. So ongoing, it was a really good discussion. I really realize that I don't want to say I'm old, but I started as a superintendent before choice, and then I went through all the steps and processes, and there's some young superintendents sitting there saying, well, this is the way it's always been. Well, no, that's not the way it's always been. But, and I had some interesting discussions with the auditor. I was pushing back a little bit, and she did okay, but I don't think I made, I don't necessarily made a friend, but I was asking some tough questions. So anyhow, that was fun.
Howard, can I just ask a question on
Yes.
that? So I just want to clarify, our position at this point is that the board has not authorized schools of choice participation for us right now. We are
Correct.
not authorized to take schools of choice.
Ken, you have not authorized, if you're open, have any openings for next year, or if you're closed for next year. The students that you currently have are students, that's a clarification, are students that roll over. You cannot
sure,
say no,
sure,
you cannot say no to them. And then, so what we have to do, for example, we're approaching 100 students in kindergarten. If there are schools of choice students in there, and we've already added a new kindergarten teacher, I can tell you I'm pretty pleased with who we're recommending tonight, but it's getting thinner. You know what I'm saying? That we're fortunate we got out there early, and we got some good ones. So we have to factor a lot of things in before we say we have more openings in kindergarten for schools of choice. And you have the right to do that.
Let me rephrase my question.
Yep.
It's my understanding that each year the board has to authorize us to participate in schools of choice, right? I mean, we
That's
have to-
correct.
Okay.
Yep.
And we've not done that since 2018.
I haven't gone back to check that,
well, that's-
but
yeah.
that is,
So right now, there's no authorization for administration to approve schools of choice.
that's correct.
Is that correct? Okay.
correct. Yep.
So we would anticipate that unless the board takes action sometime this summer, that schools of choice for next year is not going to happen.
That's correct. You'd have to move in July on that.
Okay.
Yeah. You can't sit on it too long because
Sure,
of the way
I
they
understand that,
advertise
yeah.
and so
Yeah.
forth, but we're almost near, we're in the middle of June.
Okay. that's
Possibly
fine.
even June 28, we might have to come to you so that
Yeah,
we're in a
okay,
timely manner.
good, good.
But that's really not, that's a fairly simple process of looking at what your enrollment is, what the student ratio is by grade level, and then you can make, I think, a fairly informed decision about that. The longer, bigger picture is just really taking time to say, it's wonderful that we have large enrollment, but what does it do is it stressing our facilities? Is it, where does it fit into the whole thing? And I don't think you can do that in just one quick meeting.
Oh, no.
And that's not, I heard in that discussion, that's what we were talking about. But we're setting the stage for that.
Good.
Does that make sense to everybody?
Yep.
That's all that I have, Kevin.
Okay, any questions for Howard?
Howard, I just want to make one quick little, and I'm not trying to, but I bring Pearl to school every day. And there are times I have kind of seen in the crossing area, those quite close calls. And I just think one of the things that, as the group and committee is looking at that, rarely do the crossing guards stop. It's like, oh, there's a kid, and they just jump out there with their stop sign. And if somebody isn't paying attention, which we all try to pay attention, there is going to be an accident. So there is part of that, yes, the traffic needs to be aware, but also I don't just cross a crossing lane without looking either. I think they just need to maybe stop and just pause. I always get the sense of, got to get them across the road right away, but sometimes there's big semis and there's tractors, and it would be safer if that bigger piece of equipment went through first and that child just stood there and waited for a few minutes. So just an observation. Again, I don't want to criticize, they do an amazing job, but I've seen it a couple times where I go, oh my gosh, and they just jump out. And it's like, you gotta pause a little bit sometimes too. And I don't wanna see anybody get hurt. So just a thought of, yes, it's a great, get them across, get those students across. But I watch some of these high school students even come running down the hill, and it's like, it's almost just kind of like watching a train wreck some days. So it just is that cautionary, yes, we have crossing guards, but there's still that flow of traffic that they also need to pause for.
So noted. We've talked about that.
Okay, all right, like I said, I bring her to school every day, so I've seen it.
That issue, we've talked about a number of options, from even picking the kids up with a bus in the city and not having, but you really can't close it down.
Yeah, no, I don't think it needs to be closed. I think just a little pause sometimes.
Yeah, and then you have that, and then if you stand out on the west side of the building and watch parents pick up in the afternoon, and it's a very concerning thing at times. And so we need to, I think I like what you said, we just need to take a pause here and really carefully look at and try to analyze as best we can.
I've shared with Howard what my biggest concern is, and I think it's a major contributor, is the speed of traffic from the east. Coming down that hill, like going past my street, many of those cars are going 50 miles an hour yet.
Yeah.
And we're talking big rigs. And I think the biggest thing that can help us is we need the help of the Sheriff's Department to slow down the traffic coming from the east. It's major.
And I think too, no matter what the plan is, it's that education piece. Dylan's here, he'd say, I'm not the most patient person in the world. The pickup line about makes me pull my hair out. You have parents who get the kid in and we'll buckle them, up the street a little bit. And then you have, and I'm making light of this. You have the mom who's feeding their kid a snack before they pull out of the parking space. And so again, I think part of it, no matter what the plan is, it's that education piece too, of the parents and of whatever that looks like.
I would say the opposite on some of your comments, Becky, because I've been through that crossing guard many times with my snowplow. Every time I've went through there,
They stop, they wait.
yeah.
See, and I've seen it twice where I thought they were gonna get clipped.
I mean, a lot of times there's one kid standing there and there's another group coming, and they don't go out there until that other
Okay,
group gets there.
well, that's good.
But just my observations too, so.
Believe it or not, and I've told people this before and they don't believe me, when you come in from the east, you're coming down that hill, that crossing is not terribly visible. By the time you have headlights coming towards you, you have streetlights along the side, you have the blinking light down at the co-op's corner. It's as obvious as it looks, that crossing area is not that visible. People think I'm crazy, but it's not. It's just not that visible. And I don't know the celestial of that, but it's not as visible as people think it is.
The traffic analysis that was done in 2019 was suggesting taking a flashing sign, slowing up to move it further, to your point, further up the hill. Try to get
But
it
that's got to do with MDOT though, don't it?
Yeah.
But there
So-
again, you're talking a 4-inch circle or something. You're not talking
And you're also
something that's
talking.
terribly visible.
You're talking MDOT, so,
Yeah. And that was noted also.
yes, okay. Thanks, Howard. Principals, Mr. Biller, you have the mic.
Looks pretty relaxed out there, doesn't he?
He does.
It's the warm weather is what it is. Thank you, guys. Good to see everybody tonight. Just a couple of things on my board report, nothing major. We do have some kids, though it's not on here, but we do have some kids working with credit recovery for summer school, just a 2-week time where they can gain back credits on courses that they have failed. So we are working on that electronically through Edgenuity, our third-party company. We've customized the courses, though, in order to attach to the individual kid of what they missed here during the course that they had failed. So we made some extra efforts on that part to make it achievable for kids to get through in the 2-week time period. A lot of thanks to our online coordinator, Danny Utek, for that, and all the other teachers that are working with that. High school graduation went off. great. The sun came out and warmed everything up for us all, and thank goodness for that.
Sort of.
We had 68 seniors that we celebrated that day, and boy, it was nice to see the sun. We also have just a bright class. Those that we know of, we earned, our students earned, I should say, scholarships totaling $1.1 million. That includes not only the foundation scholarships that we get, but also ones that they went out individually and got themselves from other local universities and programs. We just have such a bright class, and it's great to see what they're going to do here in the future. I want to put some recognition out there to some people, because graduation, there's a lot of moving parts, and there's a lot of people that really did a lot of work to help. It was not just me, that's for sure. And so Heather Short, she runs the office for me here. I appreciate her and all of her work clerically, and also with her ideas to bounce off. Dylan and Jacob, obviously, in the tech group, those guys did a great job as well. Appreciate their help. Darla Baird, Adam, and Sean and Daryl and John, all those guys tearing up and setting up. There's a lot of effort that goes and time that puts into that. I appreciate them. Gary Vanna and Jill Nevereth, thanks to them for getting our seniors around for the actual ceremony component and organizing that and helping, especially with Gary there as a professional senior advisor, I call him. Sarah Gray, Jack Clunder, and Karen Westmus helped me at the gate, and just I appreciate their help for giving up that time. We also had a couple students that were working that night and helping us out. Cole Engelwright and also Michael Payne was flying the drone for us. So, and Cole was helping us out the live stream. So appreciate both of them and their efforts there. Unfortunately, we have some staff in the high school that are going to be leaving, and I want to make sure that we give due diligence to mentioning how important these men have been to McBain and McBain High School. Mr. Bruce Copeland is going to be retiring here after 32 years of service, and really appreciate what he's meant to the McBain community and our students for so many years. Mr. Kevin Coster also is going to be retiring, 25 years of service here to McBain, and a lot of time and effort to help run clock and such at athletic events. He's very much appreciated in the classroom, as well as his extra work outside. Jack Clunder is also going to be leaving us. He's going to be resigning, moving on to a different career. Almost 16 years of service here at McBain, and touched a lot of lives, and we appreciate his efforts as well. So just wanted to make special note of those three gentlemen. They mean a lot to McBain and a lot of the students and graduates here. Athletics, we had such a great season, even with the COVID restrictions and things of that nature. Our kids all through this year had a great athletic season. And the opportunities that they had, not only from football and cross country, going to states, to our basketball teams, both teams just doing outstanding work on the court. To this spring now, our baseball team had a 6-19 record this year, but thanks to Mr. Mulder and Mr. Kors devoting the time to those young guys there. The varsity softball team had a final record of 23-9, and they just were outstanding, pounding the ball over the fence this year. And so they won their pre-district game, but lost in the district. We appreciate the time for Ms. Chantal Zidovine and her group as well. The state track and finals, we had qualifiers that qualified, and so the boys finished overall 19th place. And so congratulations to Pat Maloney and all those students there. You see them listed, but they scored very well, some more individually than others, but also our girls team with Susan Maloney, congratulations to them as well. They had some students there as well recognized. Our golf team, first time ever, qualified for states. So last week they were, this last week, and Friday and Saturday. They played down in Frankenmuth, and they performed very well. All year, I think this team has improved all year, and they just kept moving along. So we're going to move along. Matt Utek, a senior, but welcome back then Christian Mitchell, Bryce Roller, Tucker Vandervelde, and Kyle Culp. And on the day, Tucker did do the best out of all of our guys. He did score 184 out of the 2 days, and he moved up to 51st place out of 105 golfers. So congratulations to Coach Pat Martini and what he's done there with the golfers this year. It's really exciting just for the whole season, all of the season, whatever we were given to really have it for the kids. So I'm really pleased. Our coaches worked extra hard to make these available and opportunities. And yeah, as we reflect and move forward, hopefully we'll do that a little more normal next year with the athletics. So.
Any questions for Mr. Biller? Thank you. Mr. David Wisner?
Good evening. I think the only thing I wanted to highlight from my board report is the data table that I gave you in my report, and then I had sent along to Lisa Boovy some charts to include with that. And I was looking over my stuff again, preparing to talk to you, and I noticed that my charts don't match my data table. I have some theories about why that is, but if you look at the overall growth in the data table that I gave you in the report, it shows more growth than the charts. Do you have the charts? Were they included in the packet? I didn't check. Okay, so, and I want to talk about the charts just for a minute, because there's these diamonds on there, right? There's diamonds on our bar graph. So the diamonds are the goal for each grade level in those content areas. And so you'll see that for almost every grade level in every content area, they beat the diamond. The goal is to meet or beat the diamond, and they were able to do that. So I just wanted to highlight the work of our staff, even though we went remote several times, even though we were out for COVID last year, our staff and our students showed up this year, and they showed a lot of growth. The preliminary data from MSTEP I've been able to peek at a little bit, looks pretty good. And so we are very pleased with how the students showed mastery of the content this year and the learning that they showed. So NWEA has some pretty neat reports, so I just wanted to show you that one. Social studies is not part of the NWEA. What the social studies teachers do is they give a vocabulary assessment at the beginning of the year, and it's, some of you, your kids have been through it, right? So it's all the major vocab for the entire year, and it's just to get a baseline of what the kids know. And then through the year, they study vocabulary. We know it's a huge part of social studies learning, and when we look at doing the M-STEP in 8th grade and then 11th grade, it's the vocab that's gonna help them remember the content and the material as they take those assessments. And so they assess mid-year and then end of the year. And so at the end of May, when they looked at their data, 100% of students showed growth on that. They knew more vocabulary than they did at the beginning of the year. So very pleased with our data this year, and I wanted to make sure that you saw that. Other than that, my report's pretty bare bones. We kind of coasted to the end of the year in some ways, and we're very glad to have summer break.
David, you have to have these with you to look at, or these charts, or?
I don't. I left them in my office.
I was just kind of
meant
curious.
to grab them.
Some of the terminologies I was just kind of curious about.
If you ask, I probably can tell you.
How about the student median conditional growth percentile?
So really, well, I have let me see on my computer. So of course, when you look at this data, they like to give you really fancy terms for some of this stuff, right? And make it maybe a little more complicated than it needs to be. So it's, NWEA is, it's normed. So it's comparing students, you can look at them compared to the students in your district, but then you also look at them compared to all students taking the assessment across the country. So percentiles will come from that. So when you look at a growth percentile, this is gonna be my best guess on this one, right? Because you have under that same one, so you've got grade level norms, so you're looking at the norms for the country. You've got the projected growth that's there, and the school conditional growth index. So I'm assuming that they have some sort of equation, right? Where they calculate what that index might be, and then there's a percentile associated with it when you compare your growth to the growth of similar students at other schools. So that's where that percentile is gonna come from. And when we look at NWEA with our students too, depending on their score that they get a percentile rank because they're getting compared to students across the country taking the same assessment. And so we can see kind of where they fall within that. And so the 50th percentile would be grade level benchmark. Anything above is considered above grade level. Below the 50th percentile is considered below grade level. So I know that's not incredibly helpful, but maybe a little helpful.
So if you're looking at I'm just looking at here in reading grade 6, it's the student median conditional growth is 49. So what is that telling me in layman terms, if that's possible?
So their projected growth was 5.1. Their observed growth was 5. So had they gotten that 10th, they would have been at the 50th percentile, so they would have been on track for growth. They fell a little bit below, so they're the 49th percentile. And then when you look at, say, 7th grade, their projected growth was 4.1. Their observed growth was 6. So they're above the 50th percentile. They're the 68th.
Okay. All right.
Any more questions for Mr. Wisner? Okay, thanks, David.
Yes.
On to our action items. Action item A is to reconfirm the extended COVID-19 learning plan and two-way communications report as presented. And this, just so everybody knows, is just to go through the month of June. It's only 2 more weeks. And then the 1st of July, I think we're all anticipating something different.
And when will we know that?
When do we know that?
We're anticipating July 1st, there's new rules that are coming on. And after that we've been told we're going to be briefed by our health department region. And you have until, this plan was put in place like the end of August, I believe, of last year. You're going to have several weeks to review, look at, and then make a decision relating to quarantining, relating to all the different things that have to be decided.
Okay.
So when you say new rules, July 1, that'll be state rules and or health department rules, or combination of the same?
Kind of, probably combination, Ken. Just like things were really eased up a few weeks ago, look what we were able to do with graduation and so forth. July 1, based on if the numbers continue the way they are, I think it's going to look significantly different again in freedom.
Good.
Yep.
So as you mentioned, there's a potential of special meetings to make some of these changes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I really think you're going to have time with your new soup, and you're going to look at what's going on. And we talked about it today with as ISD superintendents, and it's just time. It's just time to really analyze, look at data, and see what's going on in northern Michigan, and make some decisions. The plan what you're doing tonight is the plan that was like we had last month. It was adopted last August. There's ramifications, serious legal ramifications, other things by just continuing this plan. Now expires. Now it's time to rewrite it, relook at it.
If you had a guess, do you think there's going to be some kind of return to school plan in the fall? Some kind?
I'm sure there will be.
Yeah.
I'm sure there will be. Yeah, I can't imagine that there's not going to be.
Okay.
But you 7 it's going to be your plan next year. Several of you came on in January, right? And so it will be your plan going into next school year.
Yes.
Make a motion that we approve the extended COVID-19 learning plan as presented.
Support.
We have a motion and support to approve the COVID-19 learning plan. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Action item B. I got a lot of reading to do, so be patient with me. Action item B is to approve Neola policies, 7540 property inventory, 7455 accounting system for assets, 1422 non-discrimination and equal employment opportunity, 1623 section 504 ADA prohibition against disability discrimination in employment, 1662 anti-harassment, 2260 non-discrimination and access to equal educational opportunity, 3122 non-discrimination and equal employment opportunity, 3123 section 504 ADA prohibition against disability discrimination in employment, 3362 anti-harassment, 4122 non-discrimination and equal employment opportunity, 4123 section 504 ADA prohibition against disability discrimination in employment, 4362 anti-harassment, 5517 anti-harassment, 2260.01 section 504 ADA prohibition against discrimination based on disability, 2266 non-discrimination on the basis of sex and education programs or activities, 5341 emergency medical authorization, 5342 do not resuscitate orders for minor students, 5343 physician order for scope or treatment, 7440.01 video surveillance and electronic monitoring, 8321 criminal justice information security, non-criminal justice agency, 8330 student records, 8400 school safety information, 8500 food services, 8510 wellness. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Is there any further discussion on these Neola policies? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Action item C. Accept the retirement letter of Mr. Bruce Coatman, high school teacher.
Motion?
Support.
We have a motion and support. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That passes. Action item D is to approve the MHSAA membership resolution 2021-2022.
Motion?
We have a motion and support. Any discussion?
I had kind of an unrelated question on this. All the online sports betting that's going on now, does that reach down to high school?
Online sports betting?
Yeah, there's the
Not to
online
my
sports
knowledge.
betting is the biggest thing now. That's all you see on TV anymore.
I don't think, no, it's not in high school.
Okay.
No idea.
I assumed it wasn't, but
I sure hope not.
Yeah, I sure hope not.
well, I do too, but
Right?
it said, it said you can bet on anything, so.
Well, technically you can, I guess. Any more questions? Okay, we have a motion and support. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Action item E, we are going to approve some teachers here, and we are going to do these individually. And there's one in there that I'm going to abstain from. So, action item E, to approve to hire Canada Vandervelde as elementary teacher.
Support.
We need a motion. Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. We have a motion. We have a motion and support to hire Canada Vandervelde as elementary teacher.
Can anybody tell us a little bit about them or what grades they'll be
I-
teaching?
Yeah, so we have a motion and support.
Yep.
Discussion right now. Canada comes from us from several years of teaching Great Starts Readiness Program for Cadillac Public Schools. She's going to be placed at the kindergarten level. David, listen real carefully if I miss some of these, please. Just outstanding individual. These 4 candidates, we had an interview committee of 7 at level 1. And then at level 2, Scott Acom, David, and I did the level 2 interviews. And these, we started with 15, 16 applications. We brought it down to 7, and then we brought it down to 5, and then we brought it down to 4. And the 5th one, I'm pretty sure if things continue the way they go, we'll probably be working on next month because things open up. But this Canada is extremely well prepared to step in to that kindergarten transition. Will be a great leader for us in helping Little Wheels and the transition from Little Wheels into the kindergarten. David, do you want to say anything more about Canada?
Hello. She stopped by today, and I kind of gave her a tour of things and kind of showed her around. She's very, very excited. She's got some little ones who will be joining us at school and in Little Wheels. I thought Howard was going to take her for Little Wheels. I thought we were going to have to fight over her, but luckily not. Luckily not.
Almost arm wrestled her.
But she will be a great addition to the staff. She's going to fit our culture very nicely, and we're excited to welcome her.
So her tentative placement will be kindergarten. We have some moving parts of teacher assignments, but they've all been promised an elementary opening. We have pretty sure we have the classroom for them, but a couple other moves happen. They could change to first grade or kindergarten or something like that. But does that help, Karen, with what you're looking for?
That's perfect.
Okay, any more questions on Canada? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next one. Action item E, to approve to hire Maggie Eisinger.
Motion.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Is there any further questions for Howard or David about this individual?
I'd like to say a few things about Maggie and let David fill in. But Maggie helped us out this year, and I think we helped her out this year. If you remember, we had a need to break down the numbers. I think it was 5th grade, am I right? And so she's student taught and was paid as substitute type wages for the year. It worked out really swell. And she worked with Kim and Jennifer Suk and her critic teacher, who gave her a lot of input. And I think she had a really nice experience. I can tell you through the interviewing process, Maggie did an outstanding job. And we were anyway, we expect great things from her, and I just love the fact that I'm sitting here recommending one of our kids that we've helped prepare through K-12. She's paid the price, if you will, by going to school, doing all the things she's supposed to do to prepare for this moment, and she has. I, without reservation, recommend her to you, and not because she's Kevin's dad, or, yes, I said that right. David?
Maggie has really good energy. I know that she enjoyed her fifth graders. We have her slated tentatively for second grade. She was looking to maybe go a little bit younger. We have an opening there. And so she's very excited to get started. I helped her find some curriculum last week. I loaded her up. Her arms were very, very full. And so we'll get her settled and sorted, and very excited to work with her.
Okay, any more questions? All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. Next one is to approve to hire Brittany Norman.
Motion.
Support.
We have a motion and support to hire Brittany. Is there any questions for Howard or David on this individual?
I'd like again comment, just an outstanding interview process, both interviews. She comes with experience. She'd be placed on the 7th step. She's currently with Pine River School District. Great deal of potential for leadership with her peers because of those experiences. Just one of those hires you feel good about. And she's also going to get married next month to, she's going to become Mrs. Bold, and she's moving in to their community and going to be, I think, living, you know where his farm is, right? And living there. So, so we're real enthused about another, just a wonderful hire. I really think so. Dave?
We were very impressed with her in the interview, the things that she spoke to that she does in her classroom, the ways that she looks at data to support her students' needs, all things that we talk about here. So she's going to fit in very, very nicely as far as her philosophy and the way that she approaches her classroom and her students. And as Howard said, she does some things that we don't do quite yet, where she will have a chance to kind of lead us and lead the charge a little bit. And so very excited about that potential for her. Slated for 3rd grade right now.
Okay, any more questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Good. Now, I don't think I've ever seen this name before, Howard, so.
Hey, David?
Acacia?
Acacia?
Acacia, like the wood, acacia.
Acacia,
I've got to
okay.
practice that a few times.
Okay, the next one is to approve the hire of Acacia Smith.
Motion.
Support.
We have a motion and support. I guess Howard?
Potential. She's coming out of her teacher preparation training, just received her bachelor's degree. She's from the Cadillac area. It has all the markings of just being an outstanding teacher for us. Dave, you want to say anything?
Both of her parents are in education. Her father works in an ISD classroom, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. She's a graduate of Heritage Christian. She interviewed very, very well for just coming out of school. I was really impressed. I talked with her supervising teacher on the phone who poured accolade upon her. She had a unique student teaching experience in that she was down in Grand Rapids and she had to do it completely virtual. And so she yeah, just something that many of us, well, none of us had to do. So that was pretty unique for her, and her supervising, her student teacher supervisor had a lot of good compliments for her as far as the way she engaged kids and the way she worked with that. So I'm very excited to bring her along. Right now, she's slated for fifth grade for right now.
Okay, any further questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Kevin, before we leave that, just want to thank you, board, for your trust in us, but also David alluded to, I talked about the 2 levels of interviews that we've done, and also after we did a very carefully, what I'm going to call reference checking vetting process of doing background checks and checking with references and pretty on all 4. So I feel real good that we're in a great situation here.
Good. Congratulations to all 4 of those young ladies. Action item F, to accept the retirement letter of Sue Hooker, cook.
So moved.
Support.
Motion and support. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Did you note that Sue noticed that 33 years of being around or something? Or,
Yeah, she's been here a while.
She's going to get roasted a little bit tomorrow at a special luncheon that we're having.
Yeah. Action item G, to approve state aid borrowing resolution, which I think Howard related to earlier.
Yes, yeah. I can go into more, it's kind of standard practice. It's something that we need to do. It's been approved by Troon. And then with your resolution, it'll jump into the process, and then we'll be bringing things back to you, and the money would be arriving in September. This year, for the 2021 school year, as you recall, we paid that back in March.
Okay. So this is for next school year, right, Howard?
Yes, it's for 21, 22.
Okay. All right. And do we, this is for $1 million. Do we draw that in increments? We don't draw it all at, we draw it as needed then, or?
Ken, I believe it's in increments.
In increments, okay. And this goes out for bids, it looks like to me.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Last year, and it's getting tougher, last year we only had 1 bidder.
Oh, really?
When I was here before, we used to, when Sue would help me at Chemical Bank, and it would be so great. These aren't sometimes the most popular things to do. We're safe, we're good, I think we're a good investment, but this year is out of a bank out of, I think it's called Eastern Michigan Bank from the east side of the state. So it's interesting to watch. I had never heard of the bank. They've been very good to work with. We haven't had any issues, so. And now with the bank locally changing hands again from Huntington, I'm not sure what the status of that is.
I don't know either.
So.
Might change a couple times before that, so.
Yeah.
Make a motion that we approve the state aid borrowing resolution.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that passes. Next, action item H is accept the hire recommendation of Daryl Davidson to hire Chris.
You're close, you're doing good.
Chris.
Duca.
You just,
Do,
we'll get it right and right.
how do you say that?
I would say Duca.
Dukek.
I'm sorry, Chris, but that's a new one to me.
He's a real nice guy.
As a full-time custodian.
Support.
We have a motion and support to hire Chris. to help out, come on board as one of our custodians. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, Chris. Action item I, to accept the retirement letter of Mr. Kevin Coster, high school teacher.
Motion.
Support.
There's a motion and support. Is there any discussion?
We're getting any responses to our postings?
Pardon?
Are we getting some responses to our
Yes,
postings?
yes, we have multiple.
Good.
Yep. They're going to be interesting hires. It's going to be tough, all three.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Action item J, to accept the resignation letter of Mr. Jack Clunder, high school teacher.
Motion.
Support.
Motion and support. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Action item K, accept the recommendation to fill the Director of Accountability job opening with Miss Becky Rodenbaugh, Mrs. Becky Rodenbaugh.
Motion.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Is there any further discussion on this position?
I'd just like to say that Becky is ready for this responsibility. It's going to be a significant help to the district, help to Scott with the number of things that are continue to get more complex and so forth. Just listening to David give the report on testing and the results, and Becky's going to be on the top of that, coordinating it, working with Title IX. The list goes on in the list. She has prepared herself. She has a master's in ed leadership. She's been here for a minute. She's a known quantity, and I think she's excited about taking on the new position.
Is this a lateral move or is this an upward movement?
No, she is not an administrator, no. She's a Title I teacher, and she gets paid a stipend to coordinate that program. This is definitely a promotion for her.
Okay.
A significant promotion.
Biggest benefit I see is in the curriculum area. I think I voiced this before, is that we always, well, for a long period of time, we had what we call a curriculum director, who primarily was responsible for coordinating curriculum and that kind of stuff. And I don't think we've had one since probably the late 1990s or something like that. And the big thing I see in this job is curriculum coordination and alignment and that kind of thing is the biggest benefit I see in this type of position.
I wanted to make one comment too, in case anybody is wondering too. This is a year-round position, and she is aware of that. She will have her vacation days, but just in case anybody was wondering, this is a year-round position.
And she reports directly to the superintendent, right?
Correct.
If you see her taking a vacation in October, it's just because she's here.
Okay, we do have a motion, correct?
I think we did.
Yeah, motion and support. Is there any more discussion on Becky's position? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And that passes. At this time, it is time to open our meeting back up to public comment. So if there's anybody out there that wants to say anything, now is the time. I don't think we have any public comments. It's 8:20. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
We typically have a board roundtable.
Okay. We're going to do a board roundtable.
You can start.
Has anybody got anything to say?
I don't have anything, no. It's probably been the longest Monday of my life, so.
Matt, do you have anything you want to comment on?
I just want to say one quick thing. I've had a brief conversation in years past with Mr. Wisner that when he brings this data, he should have huge laser lights and big presentations to show how successful his team is. And just to recap, I mean, every single area of ELA, math, science, and the separate social studies had growth, and was there was one that was like 1/10 of a point, basically at the average of the country. Everyone else is above it, and that's pretty impressive, especially on years like this one with remote and back and gone and quarantines and so forth. So kudos. That's it.
Down to this end. Karen, you got any?
I think I'm good.
Okay. Doug?
I'm good.
Denny?
Just one thing, I guess. Last month was a pretty heated meeting between the public and our board. I just hope our microphones don't become a pulpit to encourage or tell our parents how to raise their kids. We can do that outside of this microphone. I have no problem with it. I don't think it belongs up here.
Okay. Any more? Okay.
Good. Kevin, before you adjourn, this is I'll be involved chairing or helping with the June 28th meeting, but as your interim superintendent, I've enjoyed this very much. Appreciate the support that you've provided. I think we've had an interesting journey. I think we've been blessed by having an outstanding young leader step forward to lead the district forward. I think the board has just done an outstanding job. I've been very, very impressed. So, and I don't have to say that because I'm not worried about renewing the contract. But anyway, it's been a good experience. The community is very fortunate to have 7 people that are willing to step up like you folks have and be there and on behalf of the kids. It's working the way it's supposed to work.
Thanks, Howard. Yeah, I'd just like to thank you two for stepping up and helping us through this. It's been a bumpy road, so.
I think we're the ones that was blessed. I mean, we could have had a lot more struggle during the last few months had he not been available, and I personally would like to thank you. I never thought I'd be sitting next to him on the Board of Education again, but I think McBain is blessed to have the confidence that you've brought back to the community and to the school and to the board, and McBain owes you a great debt of gratitude. Yep.
Thank you, Ken.
Yeah, when I think back to January, when I looked at the mountains we had to climb, it was scary.
Yeah.
And we're already here to June, and it has gone very well, and thank you. That is very much in part of what you have done for us. So thank you.
Okay. 8:24. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Support.
Motion and support. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?